Hello and welcome to Explained by NewsX. Today we dive into the Nobel Peace Prize, its storied origins, the 2025 laureate igniting global hope, and the persistent echo of political ambition from Donald Trump, who once more finds himself on the sidelines. Dashing the hopes of US President Donald Trump, the Nobel Peace Prize 2025, announced mere hours ago in Oslo, was awarded to Maria Corina Machado, Venezuela's main opposition leader, who is in hiding. Machado, also known as Venezuela's Iron Lady for her work in promoting democratic rights, found her name in Time magazine's The 100 Most Influential People of 2025 list. For Nobel Peace Prize 2025, the committee reviewed 338 nominations in total, including 244 individuals and 94 organizations. From the 338 nominations, Maria Corina Machado from Venezuela was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize this year. And unlike the other Nobel Prizes, where the Norwegian Nobel Committee itself decides the nominees and the winners, the Nobel Peace Prize stands out because anyone from anywhere can nominate an individual or an organization so long as they meet the criteria to be considered a nominator. For the Nobel Peace Prize, no invitation from the committee is required for a nominator to nominate someone for the prize. Despite frequent controversies, the Nobel Peace Prize continues to shape the global conversation about peace, conflict, and justice. It highlights causes and individuals that might otherwise remain on the margins, amplifies struggles for human rights, and adds moral weight to diplomatic and grassroots efforts alike. The recipients of 4 of the prizes are decided by a Swedish committee, while the recipient of the Peace Prize is decided by a Norwegian committee composed of 5 members appointed by the Norwegian Parliament. The Peace Prize Committee deliberates in secret for months before coming up with a shortlist and narrowing it down to pick the winner. The winner of the Nobel Peace Prize receives a medal and about $1.17 million in prize money. From Caracas barricades to global exiles, Machado's non-violent defiance against Nicolas Maduro's regime, barred from the 2024 ballot, yet rallying millions, has earned her the $1.1 million honor, underscoring democracy's fragility in a fractured world. The 58-year-old Venezuelan politician has been in hiding following last year's election that was widely seen as having been rigged by the incumbent president Nicolas Maduro. But as Machado's triumph reverberates, whispers from Washington question, what of Donald Trump's fervent bids? While the development will no doubt rankle Trump, who has repeatedly argued he deserved to win the prize for resolving 8 wars, the choice of Machado will not hurt him. In recent months, Trump has opened a front against Maduro over drug trafficking operations in Venezuela and has halted all diplomatic efforts. The Nobel Peace Prize, a testament forged in paradox. Envisioned in 1895 by Alfred Nobel, the merchant of death behind the dynamite, as atonement for war's machinery, it exalts those advancing disarmament, rights, and reconciliation. According to Alfred Nobel's will, the prize to champions of peace is to be awarded by a committee of 5 persons to be elected by the Norwegian Storting. The rules subsequently adopted by the Storting state that the members of the Nobel Committee are elected for 6 years and terms and can be re-elected. As far as possible, the composition of the committee is to reflect the relative strengths of the political parties in the Storting. The committee chooses its own chairman and deputy chairman. The director of the Norwegian Nobel Institute serves as the committee's secretary. During the early decades of the committee's work, it was normal for both incumbent representatives of the Storting and government ministers to be members. The first committee thus consisted Johannes Steen, Foreign Minister Jørgen Løvland, Storting Representative John Lund, and Professor of Law Bernhard Goetz, and the National Bard Bjørnstjerne of Bjørnson. With this heavy representation by prominent politicians, it became difficult over time to convince the surrounding world that the committee was not influenced in its work by Norwegian authorities. In 1936, in connection with the Nobel Peace Prize award to Karl von Ossietzky, the practice was changed so as to bar current members of the government from sitting on the committee. In 1977, out of continued regard for the committee's independence, a practice was imposed whereby current members of the Storting could no longer be elected to the Nobel Committee. At the same time, the committee changed its name from the Nobel Committee of the Norwegian Storting to the Norwegian Nobel Committee. In 2017, the Storting formally decided that sitting members of parliament are not eligible for membership in the Norwegian Nobel Committee. The committee conducts all its meetings in a special committee room at the Nobel Institute. The interior was designed by architect Carl Berner. On the walls of the committee room, there are photo portraits of all individual laureates and the logos of all prize-winning institutions and organizations. Since 1901, bestowed annually by Norway's 5-member committee, Parliament appointed for impartiality, it has saluted 142 visionaries from Red Cross founders to nuclear watchdogs, each graced with a medal, diploma, and over $1 million, though tempests like Kissinger's 1973 win persist. It has been awarded annually since 1901 to individuals and organizations for their exceptional contribution to peace, conflict resolution, and human rights. Notable laureates include Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, and Malala Yousafzai. The process of selecting a Nobel Peace Prize laureate spans around 8 months, with the Nobel Committee coming to a decision on the winner by the beginning of October, at the latest when a winner is selected based on a simple majority vote. The interpretation of Nobel's will over time has also been expanded by the Nobel Committee to include efforts in human rights, democracy, and environmentalism as contributions to peace. Maria Corina Machado emerged as the 2025 paragon, a 56-year-old engineer and parliamentarian barred from presidential run, yet architect of Venezuela's opposition surge. She inherits this mantle for tireless promotion of democratic rights. From hiding, she reflects this prize belongs to Venezuela's people, pledging funds to dissidents amid Maduro's reprisals. Meanwhile, in the past, several heads of state have claimed 14 Nobels, 4 American chief executives among them, blending power scepters with peace's laurel, oft with acclaim. So far, 4 U.S. presidents have received the Nobel Peace Prize: Theodore Roosevelt in 1906 for mediating the end of the Russo-Japanese War, Woodrow Wilson in 1919 for founding the League of Nations, Jimmy Carter 2002 for his human rights and peace work, and Barack Obama for his diplomatic outreach. Enter the perennial aspirant, Donald Trump, who claimed his peace record is a bigger accomplishment than that of other leaders, especially Obama, who had won the Nobel within a year of his presidency. The decision to award the Nobel Peace Prize to Machado defies a month-long public campaign by Donald Trump, who would have been hoping to etch his name alongside Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Jimmy Carter, and Barack Obama, U.S. presidents who have won the coveted award. President Theodore Roosevelt won the award in 1906 for mediating a war between Japan and Russia, stalling it from escalating into a global conflict. President Woodrow Wilson won the award in 1919 for his role in helping end World War I and develop the League of Nations, a peace-seeking international organization founded after the war. President Jimmy Carter won the award in 2002 for peacemaking, promoting democracy and human rights, and promoting economic development, according to the Nobel Prize website. When asked about Trump missing out on the award this year, Nobel Committee Chairperson Jürgen Wathne-Friedrichs bluntly said that in the long history of the award, the panel has seen campaigns and media attention. Trump did not have much of a shot at the Nobel Prize this year, as the nominations closed on the 31st of January this year, nearly 10 days after he assumed office. Thus, all his claims about solving 8 wars, including the one between India and Pakistan, had no impact on the Nobel Committee's decision. Thus, the nominations by Israel and Pakistan counted little. The only valid nomination was submitted by New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, citing Trump's leadership in establishing the Abraham Accords, which normalized diplomatic relations between Israel and Arab nations. U.S. President Donald Trump, in his fervid pursuit of the Nobel Peace Prize, has criticized his predecessor Barack Obama's achievements, accusing him of doing nothing and destroying our country. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump touted his achievement in securing peace in Gaza and ending 8 wars, but claimed he did not do it for an award. Just hours to go before the award is announced, Trump complained that Obama was only a few months into his presidency when he won the Nobel. Obama was 8 months into his first term when he received the prestigious award in 2009. The Norwegian Nobel Committee at the time cited his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. The Nobel Committee's decision to award the Peace Prize to Venezuela's Maria Corina Machado instead of United States President Donald Trump drew a sharp rebuke from the White House, which accused the panel of choosing politics over peace. In a strongly worded statement, it said that the president would stay focused on making peace deals, ending wars, and saving lives. Despite the perceived snub, White House spokesperson Stephen Cheung said in a post on X, President Trump will continue making peace deals, ending wars, and saving lives. He has the heart of a humanitarian, and there will never be anyone like him who can move mountains with the sheer force of his will. Trump and others, such as Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump administration officials, have aggressively campaigned for the Nobel Peace Prize to be awarded to the U.S. president. The snub also comes just after a ceasefire and hostage deal to end the war in Gaza was signed upon by Israel and Hamas, picking a relatively unknown person over the U.S. president who has been unabashedly lobbying for the Peace Nobel. In a discreet message, ultimately, the Nobel Peace Prize reflects the committee's vision of promoting cooperation, conflict resolution, and humanitarianism. Trump's approach, which emphasized bilateral deals and America First policies, did not align closely with the committee's traditional criteria, making his nomination less likely to succeed. Well, that's all for now. Stay tuned for more from Explained by NewsX.